It's time for the Northwoods Cooking Show. Starring Uncle Roy and Miss Callie, the troublemaking dog.
Hi, and welcome to the Northwoods Cooking Show. I'm your cook, Uncle Roy, and there's my lovely assistant sleeping on the couch, Miss Callie Ails. She just got back from the park and she was tired. She was chasing the dealers. Oh, we'll get her in later. But today we're still in the month of December as we're filming, and we're going to be making some more treats and some more hearty meals for the winter. We're going to start out today with making a chicken and dumpling soup. This is nice and hearty for these cold winter nights. And what I did first of all, I got my stock boiling here in the pot. And when I make my stock, what that is, it's your liquids that are flavored rather than using just plain water to make your soup, so you don't get that watery taste and you get some flavor to it. And what I did is I stuck in my 2 chicken breasts and 2 wings out of the 8-cut pack of chicken, put those in the pot. Then I took the peels off my carrots and I cut the ends off the carrots and put the ends and the peels all in the pot, along with the peels and the ends off a medium-sized onion. And then I had 3 stalks of celery. And I took the ends off of the celery, put that in there, and I took the big butt end off the celery and stuck that in there, along with the inside hearts of the celery and all the leaves off the ends of the other stalks. Threw that in there. That's with the peels, the ends, the leaves, all of that goes right into your pot. Then you cover that completely with water and add about 3 or 4 bay leaves, and then I put a little bit of Italian seasoning in there. You can throw in a couple of peppercorns too, but don't put any salt in. You want to keep away from salt. And we just bring this to a boil. Once it boils, then we take and put it down to a low simmer. And you let that sit for at least an hour or 2 hours. The longer you can let it sit, the richer the flavor will be. But after it comes to a boil, you bring it down to a simmer and just let it simmer there for a couple hours. Then we take the juices and you put them through a strainer and save the juice and throw away all the peels and stuff. You got that juice now. Now this is the juice, that is your stock. And we're going to start this up to a boil, and then we're going to add all of our vegetables. Now like I said before, I had like a medium-sized onion all diced up here, and I did like about 4 or 5 carrots depending on the size, and then I did like 3 stalks of celery all diced up. So my vegetables are ready to go, and my chicken is. Now the chicken was cooking off while it came to a boil and simmered in the stock. That leaves all those juices in the stock, gives it a rich flavor. After I dump the stock out, all the vegetables and all the peels and stuff, then you got your chicken breasts and your chicken wings on the bottom. Take those out, cool them off, and then just pull them apart, and then you got all your chicken meat. So you can cook all that in one batch. You can do the same thing too with like ham hocks if you're going to do like a navy bean and ham soup, or you can do a lot of different ways of doing. You can put your beef in there too if you're doing a beef flavored soup. It's the same principle. You put all your peels and your meat in there at once, bring it to a boil, and let it simmer for a few hours. Ideally, it would be great if you could let it simmer overnight, but some people don't like to do that because they're afraid it might, start a fire or something, which is understandable. But just as long as you let it simmer for at least 2 hours or so, but the longer you can let it simmer, the richer that juice will be in your stock. And you can always add base to it too if you need to. But remember, that has the salt in, so you got to be careful when putting in base to anything. It's pure salt, so just watch how much you put in, a little at a time. So now we have our stock here going, and it's coming to a nice boil. So now we're just going to take and put in our vegetables. They're all ready to go. This is so simple and so easy to make. Now we let that come to a boil, and then we're going to take and let them boil for about 5 to 10 minutes until the vegetables get a little soft, a little al dente to the bite. You want it firm, but yet you don't want to overcook them and get them too mushy. And you don't want them too hard by cooking short. So when it comes to a boil, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, depending upon how big chunks you have. And then we'll take and taste this and see what it's like after we get done boiling. Now while that's waiting to boil and cooking down, we're going to take and make up the dumplings. Now this recipe that I'm making now for my soup, it's not a written down recipe. It's one of those mom's a little bit of this, a little bit of that type of cooking, which all of you can do. It's very easy to do. So we got the vegetables in the soup cooking right now. Now we're going to make the dumplings. All you have to do is just add some flour into a bowl. You can add as little or as much as you want. That's up to you. It depends on how many dumplings you want to make. I like dumplings, so I'm going to put in quite a bit. I got roughly about a cup and a half of flour here. And then I'm just going to take and crack open an egg. And that's all we're going to do is egg and flour. And in fact, I'm doing 2 eggs because I want that a little bit moister. And then we just take and mix this up together until it's all incorporated. It's going to be a rather thick dough, kind of stiff. And if it's too stiff, we'll wait and see here, see how we got it. Because you want to be able to scoop it up almost like a really thick pancake batter. You don't want it too runny, but you don't want it too thick either. We're not making dough. Because we still want to be able to have it dipped. So I got 2 eggs. I'm just going to add some water now. A little at a time. We want to get this into a smoother dough. Because you can see it's really thick and we don't want like a pie crust. So just keep adding a little bit of water to it. So far that's been about a 1/4 cup of water. And like I said, I'm not really measuring, but I'm going by the consistency of what I'm looking for. Now this is just about right. I could use just a little tad more water. So I'd say altogether it's probably about a 1/3 cup of water. But like I said, I'm not measuring, so don't take it verbatim. But you just want to mix it, keep adding a little bit of water to it until you get a consistency like this. It's still thick, but it's dropping from the spoon. And that's what we want to do for our dumplings. And making dumplings is so easy. That's all it is. It's just a flour and egg. These are egg drop dumplings. And when it comes time to make the dumplings, when the soup is boiling away, you just dip your spoon into the hot water so that the dumplings will slide right off your spoon. Heat that up and we just plop in like that and just do little bits like that. And I'll show you that as soon as the soup gets done before we add our dumplings. Okay, now our soup is at a boil and the vegetables are done, and we're going to be adding our dumplings. Like I said, we're just going to heat up the spoon a little bit, and we just take and grab a little scoop of the dough and just plop that right in. And you can just make these as big or as small as you want and just keep plopping them in. Make as many as you want. I usually like to keep on going until the whole dumplings are starting to float. Because these dumplings are so good, everybody eats them up right away. So you want to make a lot of them. That's how simple it is. You just plop them right in there, just like that. And then we just continue to boil until these dumplings are done. And they are kind of a hard nodule type of dumpling. They're not a fluffy one. That's why they're an egg drop dumpling. It's not like a biscuit or baking powder biscuit. These are going to sink into the soup, and then they'll start rising when they're all done. Rise to the top of the surface, that is. And that's all my batter. And you just let that go until the dumplings are done, and we can just turn this down just a little bit just to let it simmer because we don't want to boil away all of our soup. And that's our chicken dumpling soup, and I'll dish up a bowl when the dumplings are all done. Okay, our dumplings are all done. I just want to take a sip of this. And that's a good broth, but it's missing a little salt and it's missing a little flavor. So now we're going to put in some chicken base. And let's go a little at a time. I'm going to put in about 2 tablespoons here. So, you know, this is all on personal preference. It depends on how much water you have in there, how much broth you have in there. So you just want to keep adding your base a little at a time until you get it to the right flavor that you want. That's really good. I'm going to do just a little bit more. Put in just one more, and that should do it. Plus that gives it a little bit more color to make it a little bit more yellow. There we go. And that's our chicken and dumpling soup. Now let me dish it up and we'll show you what it looks like. And before I dish it up, I'm going to take and put in my chicken. Remember, I have it all diced up here. That's already cooked now because it was cooked into the stock itself. So all we have to do is just heat it up. That's why I don't put it in until the very end. We don't want to overcook that chicken, because if you do, it's going to start shredding into pieces, and then you can have little fibers of chicken throughout your soup rather than having big chunks. Now you can cut that chicken up if you want to, but I just pulled it apart off of the bone, and that's just as fine. But just remember, don't put your chicken in until the very end, because it's already pre-cooked when we made the stock, and you overcook it, it's going to shred on you. It's going to fall into pieces, into thin strings, real fibery. So we don't want those strings, we want chunks of chicken. And this is our wonderful chicken and dumpling soup. Look at those nice big dumplings and the big chunky vegetables and the chicken. Got nice big chunks there too. Mmm, is that ever good? Now this will keep you warm on a cold winter night. So we hope you enjoy this chicken and dumpling soup. Mmm.